Hello, Gary Hernandez here, and welcome to Cane Self-Defense with Master Gary Hernandez. This video is going to be a lot different than I've done before. I had one of my cane students, he had saw the video I had done where I said, if anybody wants to see something kind of different, let me know. And I had quite a few people ask me different stuff, so I'm going to be getting to that. But this one of my students, Barry, had talked about, has a really good point, and I think it's a good idea to cover this as well. He wanted me to cover what happens when somebody does pull the cane right out of your hands. Now, I've done videos in the past when someone's got one hand on it or two hand on it, and you still have your cane, and they're trying to rip it out of your hands, ways you can manipulate your cane out of their hands and then counter strike them. But let's say it gets to where they just start to pull it, and you just lost your grip, and it just pulled away from you. Now, if they're close enough, you need to recover that cane, but to do that, you're going to have to do something to that individual. Now, being that, like I guess most of you that watch this on YouTube or Facebook are martial artists or have done boxing, something like that. So I'm going to show this to mainly for people that have never had to hit somebody before or have never trained in any kind of martial arts or boxing. So basically, I'm going to show you a couple open hand strikes and a couple areas where you can hit them to establish a couple of seconds to be able to grab your cane, and a couple kicks to where you should go to, again, to get yourself a couple of seconds to get a hold of your cane. Now, I'm not telling you to turn this into fisticuffs and start, sparring with them. I need to hit this person. I'm 50. I'm going to be 56 in a couple of months. If I got a 26-year-old, he's faster, he's stronger, he's probably a lot smarter than I am. So I'm going to have to do something to definitely stop him. Now, if he just starts to pull my cane away and he's still in the red zone, I'm going to go to hands. Now, with Bob here, I'm going to show you one of the things you can do besides straight punches, and we all know, well, most of us know how to throw a correct straight punch, we do. But when you got somebody pretty beefy, pretty strong, you want to target areas that are going to be easier to hurt them. Well, easier to slow them down so you can recover your cane, I should say. Who am I kidding? Easier to hurt them. Because they're trying to hurt you. Because if they pull your cane away, they're probably going to smack you with it. And nothing's more humiliating than getting beaten up by your own cane. Yeah. So, I'm a big fan of hitting people in the throat that are bigger than me. I am. So if I got to get somebody off me that's huge, I don't care how much in the gym they're lifting, how big their pecs are, their biceps are. They can have traps and lats and... I don't see people in the gym with weights on their throat going, did it working that? So that's what I'm going to strike. Now, there's several ways you can do this, but one of my favorites is in simple open hand strike to the throat. A lot of people will do a spear, and that's fine. The spear is pretty good. And when I do a spear, I was trained to, a lot of people can't do this, but I'll bend my front fingers like the Concorde kind of. And that's because we had to hit wood a lot and train, my martial art training, toughen up our hands so we can hit wood all day long, which sucked. But open hand strikes, here they are. They got two hands on it. They're starting to pull it away. Just out of my hands, I'm going to step in and I'm going to hit him. Even if I start to get a hand on that cane, he's got two hands, I only got one. I'm going to try to push it down a little bit and strike them right in the throat. Hit him in that, boom, right there in the trachea. Because the golden rule, they can't breathe, they can't fight. So make them, it'll give you time to try to recover your cane, maybe get away or do something else. If you hit them just right, they're going to be too busy fighting for oxygen versus fighting you. Now, again, that's just simply taking my hand. Don't hit with the thumb. Don't break your thumb. Don't hit here. You want to hit here. Like if you're a shuffle ball, skeet ball, or something like that. And you're going to find how amazing this fits your throat. So from here, I'm going to hit them just in that throat. You can even hit, squeeze up in there, But if you hit them in that throat just right, it's going to make them fight for air. Another thing I like to do, if I have to, is go for the eyes. Now, I'm not talking the Three Stooges double finger poke because you're not going to get a good hit. Now, a lot of people like the single finger poke, and that's fine. I was trained differently. My instructors made me do two fingers because, number one, if you don't hit just right, you're going to break your finger's going to collapse. When you put two fingers together, it makes your finger strike stronger. Because think about it. When you break a finger, unless the bone's coming through, You get a clean break, what do? They just tape it together or put a splint, and that's it. That's it. There's nothing big. Oh, okay, here you go. Boom. Tape it. You're good to go. You know, they tape it to your other finger. So take your fingers, keep them together, and enter the gateway of the eye. Strike them right in the eye. And if one finger is going to get in there, trust me, it's going to slip in. So boom, right into the eye. And again, if you can bend your fingers, that's great, but a lot of people can't do that. So boom, right into the eye. So that's going to cause, you know, you might blind them, yes, but if you hit them, they're going to pull back, stuff like that. But if your life's on the line, you're going to go for it. So we have hitting on the throat, and we have finger striking them. Can I do a straight punch in the face? Yeah, you can. But let's say I'm 85 years old, and this guy's 25. If I don't have a good, and I've never hit somebody, I don't have a good swing, you know, and I don't want to never punch anybody in the mouth. Those teeth, I worked at a nightclub as a bartender for 10 years in my younger days, and we were in bar fights, bartending and the bouncers, and I've seen teeth embedded in knuckles, man. It tears up their hands. Doesn't make the guy with the face feel good, but it rips up your hands. It doesn't help your hands either. So don't punch anybody in the teeth. Don't punch anybody in the head. The head's like a bowling ball. You can break your hand doing that. But what you can do, if they do start to pull back a little bit, this goes up, take your hand and do what's called a hammer fist. You're going to use right here, this part right here, and I'm going to come down on that nose and bust that cartilage. The eyes are going to swell, so I'm going to hammer fist right down on it. So again, we've hit the throat, 2 finger strikes to the eye, hammer fist down on that nose, start to make it water. Another thing I can do, if they start to grab and start to pull away and that head turns, now I have the ear. Now I do have the jawline, but I prefer the ear because if I hit it just right, I'm going to knock the equilibrium out of them. And you know, I've done that before. If I've had to defend myself, hit people in the ear and hit them just right, fight stops. So now there you can do a straight shot. If they're sideways, you can do a hammer fist into that ear. Just make sure you don't catch with your wrist, catch right here. And you can injure that ear area. Solar plex is a good spot to hit them, but you know what? If they got jacket on or they're moving and they got good, you may not get into that solar plex. So right now I'm not going to worry about that. And more of a situation where it's me or them, throat, eyes, breaking the bridge of the nose, ears. I'm going to hit those areas there. Now, moving down a little bit, Bob doesn't have any legs, but we're going to cover, I'm just going to go. Obviously, if we're in close, I could take my knee to his groin, just like that. I can also, if you know how to do a side kick, or if not, just lift your leg up a little bit, and you can kick them in the knee. Kick them pretty hard in the knee, you can cause an injury. I mean, you can try to kick them in the shin, but if you don't get a good hit, the knee's better because it's a flexible area. Jointed areas do break. You can, again, like I said, knee them in the groin. A lot of people tell you stomp on people's feet. You know, you come over here and stomp on my feet as hard as you want. You're going to have a hard time breaking it. My feet are just been battered up, but that doesn't hurt me as much as everybody likes to claim it does. You know, and I doubt a lot of you guys are going to be wearing stiletto or high heel shoes, so that's not going to really happen too much. So just to recap it real quick, lower area, kick them in that knee, use your knee to their groin. Don't get me wrong, you can even switch down, grab a whole fist of Bob, squeeze until his eyes bulge. Whatever you got to do to get yourself out of there. Going up to the body again, open hand strike. You can do a spear. If you're going to do a spear, make sure your hands look like this so your thumb doesn't come back and break. You can hit like that. If you can bend your fingers like that and have that strength, that's great. If not, just keep everything tight. But to me, this is one of the best. Into that throat. There's a thing called tire punch that a lot of people have to do where they're like that, and that's good too. Don't get me wrong, you still do that too. But if they start to tuck, this seems to slip in a lot better for me. We talked about the nose. You can do a straight punch, but I like hammering down and busting that nose. Again, finger striking, not one finger. You can, that's up to you. I'm just trained and prefer 2-finger strike to keep that stronger. The ear, if I hit it sideways with a hammer fist, if they turn, then I will do a straight punch into that ear canal. So those are areas that you can target. And if you get a hold of your cane, they're going to automatically start to fight with 2 hands to bring that back. So if they start to pull their cane away from you again with two hands, guess what? Two hands are here, they're not blocking. Hit them and then recover your cane. So hopefully those techniques help. Practice them, you know. Having some other skill sets just in case. It's not a bad thing to have. Thank you. Barry, thank you for asking me to do that. That was a good thing to ask. Thank you. And I will get to I have a lot of other requests for stuff. I'm working on everybody, so just give me time. I will get there. But hopefully everybody's safe. Be well. Thank you. And I will see you guys very soon. Have a good day. Gary Hernandez. Goodbye.